We would take little breaks, and then we would go see what we would see, and, you know, all of a sudden, sometimes you accidentally find yourself in the middle of a park. But I haven't done that in a very long time. I'm going to pay Kevin to keep. I hope not. I don't want to be stuck in the hall. Sometimes for work, they let us ride the rides and try them out before everybody else, and it is a lot of fun. Speaking of fun and things we get to do, today, this morning, I did something that my 8-year-old self would be very, very proud of. I can't tell you about it until next Wednesday, but guys, it is epic, epic. It was like a religious experience. Like I full on had tears in my eyes. Do I like canoeing? I like kayaking. I like rafting. Canoeing is a little, I mean, we don't have very many places to canoe from where I'm from or here in Los Angeles, really. Kern River gets pretty gnarly. I'm from New Mexico, so we had the Rio Grande, we had the Gorge. It was like a lot of whitewater stuff. So did a lot of kayaking in whitewater. All right. Is your studio even by the theme park? Define by. Like, could I throw something at the theme park? No. Could I drive a golf cart over there within a minute? Yes. Oh, Drew Carson, thanks so much. I like this streaming format. So, is this your first time hanging out with us? Oh, we got Twitch, we got YouTube here, we got TikTok is coming slightly online. I don't know what's been happening with TikTok, but I think they think that, I don't know, they've been dinging us for something. Let's see, how many years have you been doing this show? How many? I think 3 years? I think it's been 3 years now. Helmuth, great to see you. Greetings to you too. Walking distance for sure. Okay, Drew Carson, welcome, welcome. Let us give you the elevator pitch here, okay? How would you like to watch the news? The world news, the news, national news, the news here in the United States, but from the West Coast, looking east and looking west with a little bit more of a subdued perspective. You know, we infuse optimism into the news whenever we can. We like to go existential. We like to get into the nuance, but we're also going to tell you everything that happened as best as we can today. And during the commercial breaks, while you're watching on TV, you can also chat in here. And if you have a question about one of the stories that you saw, well, I'll get back into the comment section and I'll read it. So it's like streaming meets the news, but news streaming in a two-way street kind of way. That's what we're doing here. And then in 4 minutes, about 3.5 minutes, what's going to happen? All right, so here's this little thing, right? That up there, that is 30 Rock. 30 Rockefeller Center, that's the control room. Down here, this is the studio here in Los Angeles. And then over here, this big, huge box over here, you're going to see that. This is picture in picture. Right up here, no, this way. That's going to be the show. So in 3 minutes, the show is going to start. The show that we put together throughout the day, consisting of headlines, consisting of stories, consisting of reporting from all over the world. We're going to be going really big on weather. The Midwest is getting wrecked right now from storm after storm after storm. And then we're going to be talking about, you know, everything from Iran to, I don't know if you guys have seen this big Midjourney pivot. There's a company called Midjourney that was big in the AI image space. It really changed the game in a lot of ways. Well, now all of a sudden, they're changing their own game. They're pivoting towards image scanning bodies, or body scanning images. Wait, they call it, it's not the CT scan. They call it some, basically a scan where you just dip your body in water. It's an ultrasound. And they say it's no radiation. You can be done in 60 seconds. And, you know, it sounds very, very futuristic and incredible. And there's a lot of questions on whether or not it's hype or whether this could change everything or whether it's just another one of those cases of making big, big promises and as we get into the specifics. Some of those promises have yet to be fulfilled. So we'll see. Lorenzo, great to see you. Andrex, what's up? Busy news day. You should do the show in the theme park. That'd be a good idea. We could do it on a ride. So Neil, hello. How are you? Where's Lisa? Lisa is nursing a very, very sore throat. Ultrasonic, that's what it is. It's the ultrasonic CT scanner. That's what they're calling it. They're saying that it's kind of a new way of doing imagery. Although ultrasonic and ultrasounds in particular, like they used to, from what I understand, use water. Like that's why they use that jelly stuff, because way back when it was first developed, they would put people in water. I think they actually used a gun turret from one of the old World War II planes. Anyway, guess what? We've got a minute out. Let's see. Yeah. Hi. Great question. So impressed. Okay, here we go. So here's what's going to happen. In about 50 seconds now, I'm going to go stand right there where Big Mike is. I'm going to be right about here, probably to his chest. And then Mao is going to do some dancing. And this is Mao over here. And then we're going to do the beginning of the show. Somebody was like, who's on the Ronin?
Right here, on the Ronin.
Yeah.
30.
Okay. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. And again, I think we're gonna do weather off the top, and then we will get into the rest of the day.
Stand by, come in early.
Have a good show. Have a good show, everybody.
3.
Hey, good evening. I'm Gotti Schwartz, and we start tonight with millions of people in the United States facing severe weather, including tornadoes, storms, and flooding. Almost 20 million people are at high risk of dangerous flash floods in the South, including these images coming in from Louisiana. That flooding even brought an alligator. Look at that. That's a gator in the streets of one neighborhood, and the state that is on the highest alert of possible tornadoes are still threatening. That threat comes after 13 reported tornadoes touched down across 5 states last night. The Midwest is getting the worst of it by far, and as you can see, the damage that it has caused to Illinois, to Ohio, I mean, it is pretty breathtaking. It's expected to last for days, the recovery efforts there. And in Florida, massive fires blazing in Miami-Dade County, burning around 16,000 acres, with concerns over the heat index, which could hit as high as 110 degrees. We've got team coverage tonight from Illinois, Louisiana. The one and only Bill Cairns is going to give us the latest developments on all this extreme weather. But first, let's go to Maggie Vespa. But first, let's start with Maggie Vespa, who is in Illinois right now. So Maggie, gosh, it looks like there's a lot of destruction behind you.
Yeah, Gotti, I mean, it's insane. I'll just get out of the way and you can see it for yourself. This is basically an auto parts store. It's a locally owned, family-owned business. It's been here for decades, and it is shredded. I mean, look at the massive pieces of metal siding. Look at the insulation that's hanging down, littered all over the floor. You can see the shelving inside that's tipped over almost on its side. And then if we can walk this way, you can kind of get an idea of how widespread the damage is. And people who are living in the area who saw this tornado say that tells them how wide it was. They say this thing was massive, and when it came through, it had a really broad reach. We walk over here, still more destruction in the distance, cars tossed onto that pile. And then look at this. Look how bizarre this is. Like sheet metal, basically, that metal siding wrapped around this tree, almost like tied in a knot. It is so insane when you get this idea, Gotti, of how intense these winds were and just how destructive this tornado was, especially knowing that we had more than a dozen of them overnight.
Yeah. And what are people saying about the aftermath there?
I mean, you know, we'll pivot this way so you can get a better idea of what's over here. They're blown away. I mean, imagine showing up and, like, for instance, this is your business. And the guy who actually owns this business, his name is Michael Yeager. His dad founded this decades ago. And it's kind of like a locally beloved business because, again, it's an auto parts store, but there's also a classic car museum over here. And there were like old Corvettes and one-of-a-kind VWs and things you don't see. And car lovers love this place. And I was talking to Michael about, his dad has had this place since he was a kid and the emotional toll of what was destroyed in this storm. And here's part of what he said.
Standing behind me was my garage museum filled with Corvettes and Volkswagens from the very last C4 Corvette ever made to Corvette prototypes that are one of one to my first car ever. So a lot of treasures in there that are gone.
Yeah, he just said so many memories. Two things, though, about that conversation, Gotti, really stuck with me. Number one, I said, okay, if you had to, and he has insurance, but what's the price tag on what was in that museum? He thought for like a second, and then he said, I'd say upwards of $5 million. That was number one. Wow. Number two, he was here with his employees as the storm was approaching. He told everyone, go home, you got to get out of here. This is not safe. He got out himself. He went home. The tornado almost hit his house with him and his family inside. Somehow, miraculously, it skipped his house and then just annihilated his business, which he's just gutted by, Gotti, but he's so glad he and his family are okay.
Yeah, some things are so priceless. I mean, what perspective. Maggie Vespa, thank you so much. And let's bring in Priscilla Thompson, who's keeping an eye on the flooding in Mississippi. Priscilla, what's it like where you are right now, and how are people reacting to the flooding?
Yeah, Gotti, it is water all around me right now with the sheriff going door to door telling people in this neighborhood to evacuate. And you see why there's water up to people's doorsteps. In fact, these folks who live here were telling me every time a person drives by as they're trying to leave, it just pushes these wakes toward their house, and they're almost certain that their house is going to flood. Now, they said that they are planning to get out tonight, but they've also been going around in a canoe through the neighborhood tonight. But they do say that they are planning to leave tonight. But we've spoken to other people who are coming in with snacks, a car loaded with snacks, saying that they're going to continue to ride this out, even though officials are saying that this water is only going to continue to get higher. But I want to play some of what we're hearing from folks in this neighborhood right now. Take a listen.
They came earlier saying we need to evacuate, so we're considering it, but we're not sure yet.
Why aren't you sure? What's holding you back?
Well, I don't want to leave my house. I mean, if something happens to my house, I want to be there, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get out.
Well, I should have been more scared than I was. Being from New Orleans, like, I'm used to crazy weather, but we never have tornadoes, and this was definitely different from any storm.
That last woman you heard from there in New Orleans who saw a bit of what appeared to be tornado damage there, but did not see this type of flooding in the city of New Orleans. And I will tell you another factor here is that there is a dam, the Anchor Lake Dam, about 15 miles north of here, that officials are saying is in danger of failing, and that if that happens, it would have the potential for catastrophic flooding in some of these communities. So they have already evacuated some people and are again urging people to seek higher ground. Gotti?
Oh, wow. I mean, is this the worst of it, or is there a lot more to come?
No, more to come. In fact, officials are telling people in this neighborhood they want to be out by noon tomorrow because this water is going to continue to rise. And I will tell you, just in the few hours that we've been here, we've had to move our camera back 3 times. And the police have also moved several times because of how quickly this water is coming up. And so police are going to stay here throughout the night to make sure that nobody drives through this flooded water, especially down there, some really flooded roads that could potentially sweep people away. And I will tell you, we are learning of at least one fatality in Mississippi, a county road worker who was killed while cleaning up in the aftermath of the storm.
Yeah, such a tragedy. Priscilla Thompson, thank you so much. And as we keep an eye on the flooding in the South, Bill Cairns has the latest on all the extreme weather throughout the country. Hey, Bill.
Gotti, what a day it's been, and it's not over with yet. We still have a chance of isolated tornadoes, but the flooding is the huge story today. We still haven't even seen the worst of it. There's a lot of areas that we can't even get access to where people are still trying to evacuate and get out because the water is so high, and it's mostly Louisiana, Mississippi. So here's what's left of Arthur, and it's just a remnant low. You can see the spin near Birmingham. We do have a tornado watch that's going to be up through 11 p.m. Eastern time. Again, isolated tornadoes, but Atlanta is included in that all the way down to Dothan. We've we've been getting drenched and poured on from Mobile, now to Pensacola, all of southern portions here of Alabama especially. And that's where we have all the flood warnings. Anywhere in the maroon is where we have active flooding going on. And you just see this huge stretch here from coastal Mississippi by Biloxi all the way back to Mobile into the Enterprise area. We still could get isolated totals, maybe. We've already had 6 inches. Maybe they could get another 6 inches in a few cases. I think our really like blockbuster historic totals hopefully are over with. So this is a map since midnight of last night showing you where it's rained. And typically, we get maybe 3-6 inches. I had to change our legend to go all the way up to 10 inches, and I could have gone higher than that. Wow. So we have 2 spots, one by Slidell in the southern Mississippi, and then this bullseye here in between Alexandria, Louisiana, and Baton Rouge. And this isn't a misprint. Placerville has had 23.15 inches, over almost 2 feet of rain. A 2-foot snowstorm is a big, huge deal. This is a new state record, the most has ever rained in one day anywhere in Louisiana in their history, and that includes all huge hurricanes and everything else. And this may have been done by a little, dinky, unorganized tropical storm. There's been a huge, very, very warm, moist air mass over the entire south for this week, and this storm just helped wring it out, and that's why we've had that high risk of flooding all day, southern Mississippi and areas there into Alabama. And we're going to get some additional rain tonight into tomorrow. The areas from Mobile to Destin to Montgomery. Then everyone else has a chance of getting maybe 1 to 3 inches, maybe at most 6. We've also had severe storms rolling and racing through New England. All of these blue dots are wind damage reports. Most of them are trees that are down. We have 100,000 people without power in New York State. We haven't had any tornadoes, but there still is an isolated chance as this runs on through. We're waiting for these storms to clear the coast, and then we'll be okay as we go throughout the second half of the day. But yeah, those winds have been no joke. That's what's left of our tornado watch. The worst of the storms is already heading through Boston, so that's good. So as far as the forecast goes for the weekend, Saturday we're still watching rainy weather in the south. The hot, dry conditions continue along with our fire danger throughout all of the West, even for Father's Day. We love the sunny weather, but these temperatures, the warmth, and the dry weather, Gotti, it's going to be here all summer long with these stories about fire after fire.
Yeah, Bill Cairns, thank you. And it's been just 24 hours since President Trump signed a memorandum of understanding with Iran at Versailles, and already the U.S. naval blockade has ended. Ships are starting to flow through the Strait of Hormuz. The stock market is up, and the price of gas is down, under $4 a gallon for the first time since March. It all paints a pretty picture, but why are so many Republicans, members of the president's own party, slamming the deal?
Everything I've heard about it causes me concern.
I think, unfortunately, the president is receiving some really bad advice on this deal. I don't want to see us send a penny to the Ayatollah. If we give billions of dollars to Iran, that money will be used to murder Americans.
Iran's left stronger. We are left weaker. Our allies are left weaker. Iran gets $300 billion to rebuild, which they'll use some of it to support things that we don't care for.
I don't want to give them any money.
For more, let's go to NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba. Monica?
Gotti, Vice President Vance has really become the face of this deal, and he was defending it for the administration today, and specifically pushing back on criticism that this will open up billions in unfrozen assets for the Iranian regime. The VP stressing that the White House position is that that will only happen if Iran complies with a final agreement. Here's what he had to say about that.
You will hear things about $300 billion or $24 billion or this or that number of money or amount of money. And the simple fact is that the only way the Iranians get any of those resources, not a single penny, by the way, from the United States of America under any circumstances, but the only way that they would ever get any benefit of the bargain is if they comply fully and change their behavior. And so you really have a win-win situation for the United States of America.
Now, the administration is also getting some criticism for allowing Iran to sell oil again, which is a financial benefit, but also this idea that Iran can keep some of its ballistic missiles, even though the stated goal of the war when it began, according to President Trump at least, was to destroy the missile program and, quote, raze it to the ground. So remember that he told Kristen Welker during their recent interview that Iran still had about 21 to 22% of its missiles left, but the U.S. argues that it has eliminated a lot of the launchers, which it says is significant. But setting all of this aside, this now kickstarts the really tricky part in some sense, because this 60-day period of negotiations where the U.S. and Iran are going to try to iron out the thorniest issues that aren't resolved in the tentative deal could go either way, and that could really start with some in-person discussions in Switzerland in the coming days that the VP says he plans to be a part of, but was waiting for all of the final details to still come together on. Gotti.
Monica, thank you. And former President Barack Obama is weighing in on Trump's deal to pause the war with Iran, saying he doubts it would be, quote, significantly different or significant improvement from the one his administration put together. NBC's Andrea Mitchell took a closer look at both deals to see how each stacks up.
The end of hostilities between the U.S. and Iran now looking closer than ever, with a new peace framework signed by both countries. According to the 14-point plan provided to NBC News by a senior U.S. official, the deal includes limits on Iran's nuclear program and the U.S. lifting some sanctions, as well as a 60-day ceasefire. Iran's president today calling the plan an historic document and a message from a strong Iran. Peace will be achieved in the shadow of mutual respect. While this is still just a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, it's already being compared to the 2015 Obama-era nuclear deal that President Trump killed just 3 years later. So how does it stack up with that deal? Over a decade ago, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program, including the language Iran reaffirms that under no circumstances will Iran ever seek, develop, or acquire any nuclear weapons. The new Trump MOU echoing that. The Obama deal also provided that UN inspectors would check to make sure Iran was complying. Trump's MOU says the countries have agreed to dispose of Iran's stockpile of enriched material under the supervision of the IAEA. Back in Obama's deal, the countries, including the U.S., agreed to a, quote, comprehensive lifting of sanctions and to unfreeze some Iranian assets. The Trump deal would go a step further, with the U.S. agreeing to help develop a $300 billion plan to rebuild the parts of Iran that it destroyed, though a White House official told NBC News that money would not necessarily be coming from the U.S. Back in 2015, the deal was fiercely criticized for not stopping Iran from building ballistic missiles or supporting proxy militants in the region like Hamas or Hezbollah. Those omissions slammed by Israel and by then-candidate Donald Trump.
Never, ever, ever in my life have I seen any transaction so incompetently negotiated.
But the text of his MOU makes no mention of ballistic missiles or proxy groups either. One major difference, the Strait of Hormuz, opening it a key part of this current deal. It was not an issue in 2015. Iran had never used it as leverage before and still says it could levy fees for ships going through the strait after the 60-day window. Another big difference, this deal comes after months of punishing strikes by the U.S. and Israel. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth pointing that out this weekend.
The way Obama did it, they begged Iran for a deal, and we bombed Iran.
And President Trump saying if Iran doesn't comply, he'll start bombing again.
If it doesn't get done in 60 days, that's all right. We go back to bombing.
Remember, the White House said it had obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities a year ago, before this war. Before all the details were clear, former President Obama saying the new deal might look familiar.
It is doubtful that any agreement that arises is going to be significantly different from the deal that we had in the first place.
And now even some Republicans also making that comparison.
It's going to leave Iran stronger. It's going to leave our allies weak, and it may commit U.S. taxpayer dollars. This is JCPOA plus, and I opposed it then, I oppose it now.
The termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, also in the MOU, which means Israel or Hezbollah, effectively sidelined, could potentially derail the deal with more military action, meaning there's still plenty of work to do. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News.
Andrea, thank you. Meanwhile, while the war in Iran might be winding down, the war between Ukraine and Russia shows no signs of stopping, with Ukraine launching what appears to be the biggest attack on Moscow since the war started. NBC's Keir Simmons has that story.
Hey, Gary, this is just a massive drone onslaught by the Ukrainians. 200 Ukrainian drones intercepted targeting Moscow, according to officials there. 1,000 across the country, really a barrage, and the images are truly striking. Fireballs above oil refineries. One oil refinery struck and the lid of the silo blown off in the images by the power of the blast. The second time that there has been this kind of barrage against oil refineries in Russia. But there is an image too of a Ukrainian drone slamming into a civilian residential building. President Zelensky saying that this is retaliation for the strikes on Ukraine, and also a message to President Putin, the Russian leader, to stop the war. But the foreign minister of Russia vowing that Russia's attacks on Ukraine will continue. Another Russian official, Ushakov, saying that these strikes by Ukraine will not change the determination of the Kremlin. It is having an impact on ordinary Russians' psychology. As an example, many Russians are increasingly unhappy with the cuts to the internet that are there sometimes in order to control the ability to aim these drones. Gotti?
All right, Keir Simmons, thank you. And now to some breaking news in the state murder case against Luigi Mangione. You know how yesterday we told you that Mangione's lawyers were saying that they were going to try a psychiatric defense? Well, now it looks like they might have changed their minds. They've withdrawn that psychiatric defense, according to a new court filing. Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Angela Sinandella. Angela, great to see you. So why the switch up here?
So look, hi, Gotti. So first, it could totally just be Mangione changing his mind. It is always up to the defendant. But usually there's some sort of this risk-reward calculus, right? So there's always a change as to what they decided. And my guess here is that the issue with this defense they were going to use, the EED, extreme emotional disturbance, is that Mangione essentially has to admit that he did it, right? He has to say that I did it. There's just some reason for it. And there's also a federal trial looming. What he admits here could also then follow him into the federal trial. So it's possible they decided that they're going to gamble and just take the chance that he could get off, because if that's the case, he doesn't want to have to admit that he did it. But the truth is, we'll never really know the reason, right? That's just between Mangione and his lawyer.
Is this a big hit, though, strategically? I mean, you know, the pretrial publicity, obviously they're going to try to seat a jury that maybe has been living under a rock. But a lot of people are now seeing what you just mentioned, which was, hey, the defense is floating this idea that he's going to say, you know, not guilty, but that he did it because of this reason. And now to pivot away from that, can you put the cat back in the bag here?
Yeah, Gotti, that's a great question, especially given the enormous amount of publicity that has surrounded this trial and all these charges, right? But I do think that if he has any chance of, for example, on appeal, winning the suppression of evidence argument. So right now, there's just the pistol and the notebook that have been included, but his lawyer really was fighting that just vigorously, right? So some issue like that could keep him out of prison and could have him walk out without a conviction would obviously best. And again, with these federal charges, even though right now they're just like stalking, they still carry with them an enormous possible sentence, like possible life in prison. So for whatever reason, the gamble that they're making is likely worth it in their eyes.
And, you know, there's been a little bit of talk of the judge, you know, saying these records from a secret hearing a couple of weeks ago were going to be released. Do you think that might have influenced the calculus from the defense, or is that reading in a little bit too much to something that we have no idea about?
Yeah, Gotti, I mean, I think you have to like infer that there might be some relation, right? And so this to me might not even be legal. So Mangione, as you know, on social media has turned into a sort of hero, right? Some sort of star. And I've thought about how if he admits that in the moment that he did this, his mind was not totally sound, right? That he was actually extremely emotionally disturbed, that wildly affects his image, right? That he's admitting that there was something wrong with him in those moments. And so I've thought about how perhaps what was said in those hearings, the psychiatric findings, could follow him negatively in the future and affect, you know, whatever future earnings he might want to have as a hero.
That is a pretty bizarre calculus there. Angela Sinandella, always appreciate your insight, and we'll see how all of this develops. Thank you. And don't go anywhere. Up next, what led to a clash between police officers and a man in Atlanta, now at the center of an investigation. Plus, a popular AI generator is dipping into the medical imaging business. We are talking full body scans in 60 seconds. We've got a doctor weighing in. Also, if you see this QR code, feel free to scan through, chat with us live to let us know your thoughts all hour long. That'll take you behind the scenes, streaming on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. So come join us. Wow. Man. Okay. So I'm processing what Angela just said. Maybe it had to do with his reputation that he's come into. Huh. What do you guys think? That is a really interesting thought that I had never even thought of. Yep. Okay. Got it. Let me take a look real fast. Okay. Yeah, that is. And you know what? The problem with that one is we're probably never going to know unless he or somebody else writes a book and we get to peek inside the defense's. Maybe Dateline will do a deep dive there. Hello from Oregon. Hi, Lord Schuyler. We're still alive. Can't help but think of Chicago. Yeah, there's a lot of people to think about here. Let me just take a look at this real fast. Sorry.
45.
45 seconds? Yikes.
30.
All right, we're coming. Here we go. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to headlines. All right, we'll chat in just a sec here. Hey, welcome back. Here are some other headlines we are watching tonight. A massive fire at a boat storage facility in South Carolina is under control tonight. A fire chief says an explosion was heard before the flames broke out. Now, officials say no one was seriously hurt and still no word on what caused that fire. And several Atlanta police officers are being investigated after a video posted online shows them appearing to fight with this man. The video shows a man being shoved by officers. Then it looks like at least one of them kicks a man while he's down. Atlanta PD says, quote, appropriate action will be taken based on the findings of this investigation. And it looks like the 18-year-old tourist who died in a fall from a horse carriage in Central Park was trying to rescue his mom. Now, the carriage driver apparently got out to take a picture yesterday when the horse took off, violently pulling the family. The boy's dad says when his wife lost her balance, the oldest son jumped down to help, and that's when he fell and hit his head. He died later at the hospital. The driver of that carriage has been suspended indefinitely. It was the family's first trip to New York from their home in India. And the Pentagon is wrapping up its own investigation into that deadly airstrike on an Iranian elementary school, and they're getting ready to brief Congress on what they found. 4 congressional officials tell NBC News they are worried that the Trump administration will try to keep the results from the public. And when recently asked about the strike, the president said, quote, mistakes are made, war is nasty. And President Trump has awarded the Medal of Honor to 3 combat veterans, 2 Vietnam Marine vets, and a soldier who served in Afghanistan. The Medal of Honor is the nation's highest award for valor in combat. Meanwhile, a statewide manhunt continues in Missouri for a person suspected of carrying out a string of shootings there this week that police say the shootings killed at least 1 person and hurt 4 others. NBC's Jesse Kirsch has the latest on the manhunt.
Tonight, an alleged killer is on the run near Kansas City, considered armed and dangerous.
We know who he is. We have law enforcement agencies, federal, state, and local, all looking for him right now as we speak.
Police urgently searching for 22-year-old Oscar Sanchez Munoz, who they say carried out a shooting spree Tuesday night that left 1 person dead and 4 people injured.
And we heard a boom, boom, and we thought that we had a flat tire.
Alejandro Barbari says he was in an Uber to the Argentina-Algeria World Cup match at Arrowhead Stadium when his driver was suddenly shot.
The driver started screaming, call 911. I got shot. We didn't understand how, when, why.
That shooting, according to police, one of several in quick succession. 3 adults and 1 teen injured.
Victims all indicated that they were driving down the highway or roadway when 1 or more shots were fired into their vehicles.
Meanwhile, police say another man who was shot died. Investigators say they quickly identified Sanchez Munoz as a suspect and surrounded a house believing he was inside. But after a standoff, the home went up in flames, and Sanchez Munoz was never found inside. Tonight, police say he remains at large.
If anyone sees this subject, call 911 immediately.
And in New York, as fans and players celebrated the Knicks championship today with a parade downtown, far from the parade, tourists and bystanders were running for cover as shots rang out in Times Square. NBC's Sam Brock has the latest.
A terrifying scene in the heart of Times Square. The sound of gunshots sending people scattering in one of the most congested parts of New York City. Police say 1 person is in custody and no injuries at this time. The dramatic incident coming just hours after what the NYPD called its biggest planned operation ever. Securing Lower Manhattan for the Knicks parade after the team's first title in more than 50 years. A New York crowd coming out by the millions, flooding the streets, with Broadway jammed shoulder to shoulder right along the parade route. Subways teeming and people just trying to sneak a peek. Other fans turned away hours before the parade even began because of crowds. The NYPD says an estimated 2 million people attended with no major incidents. The team stars, including point guard Jalen Brunson, soaking in the moment.
Damn, New York, we really did it, man. We really did it.
On a morning the city's euphoria permeated the streets.
The unity, it's unbelievable. We're all New York, we're all Knicks fans.
So often when this city comes together, it is because we are forced to, by a moment of tragedy or adversity. What a gift it is to be brought together by pure, unfiltered joy.
For so many, that joy still remains, but tonight a sobering reality. Securing the biggest city in the country is never without challenges.
Sam Brock, thank you. And it was a star-studded affair on the south side of Chicago where a handful of celebs were side by side with President Obama to unveil his new presidential center. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell takes us there.
The Obama Presidential Center grand opening. The rare reunion of all 4 former presidents and first ladies. A moment that Bono put to music.
46, 42, and 43.
A snapshot of the decade since they left the White House. The daughters, who were little girls then, now young women.
I got my tissue in hand.
Michelle Obama spoke of her husband's accomplishments. Emotion filled his eyes, all while delivering a gentle yet pointed defense against unnamed critics.
How absurd it is to imagine that you might have done anything but make our family and this entire country proud.
President Trump was neither mentioned nor invited to attend this ceremony. President Obama said democracy requires this.
A belief in the peaceful transfer of power after the people have spoken in fair and free elections, recognizing that in a large, complicated society like ours, no group or faction gets its way 100% of the time.
A gallery of artists came together and moved the crowd to its feet. Organizers said they wanted this to be a joyful event. Tomorrow, something new begins as the Obama Presidential Center opens to the public.
Kelly O'Donnell, thank you. And coming up, AI generator Midjourney says it has created a full-body medical imaging scanner. So is it sound or sus? That discussion coming up.
Claire, 3 minutes, sir. Going B to G next.
All right, so let's see, B to G, Kavita, then we're going subscription services. Okay, cool. All right, love them, J Place, black screen. Ooh, guys. Sorry about that. Black screen. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Morales. Hello. Great to see you. All right, we got Kavita coming up here. So many things happening in America all at once. That is how it is every single day. Hit the button. Just hit it. Who was a dude dancing? I don't know. I didn't see it. Get out of the station. Oh, I see. You guys are talking about
2 minutes.
politics, or are you guys talking about the Knicks? Anyway, have some bad news. Hey, Kevin, are we ending it tomorrow for a little hiatus, or is it today? Is today the last day? I think it might be today, because Kevin's got to go, recuperate from all this streaming tonight. I thought so. Poor Kevin. Okay, well, guys, chat. We are going to go on hiatus for the chat only. The show continues in its normal format of just being on television or being on YouTube or just watching wherever you watch. It is available on all the streaming platforms. But I think we are going to go dark on TikTok, on Twitch, and on YouTube for a week or so. So put your notifications on today. You won't be seeing them for a little while. But we'll come back pretty soon, and we've got some really cool adventures that we can't share just yet. But I know, I'm sorry. Holding the 6.
1 minute.
Do the countdown in Spanish. From how far? 3, 2, 1. Is that good enough? Let's see. Jay Place. That's a very interesting thing to say here. I don't disagree. Oh no, a week. We will miss. You guys, we're not going anywhere. We're still here. We just can't, Yep. Oh, I will. Yeah. I'll be going pretty big on this one. Okay.
20.
I'd rather not in the future, but got it. Okay. 10 seconds. Jay Place, you were totally right.
B to G to the dust.
Peacock for the win. Guys, this story is wild.
Stand by animation.
And tonight, in the future of everything, there's a video I saw this morning from an AI company that left me feeling super confused. It was a video from Midjourney, which is one of those companies that has changed the game. They really have when it comes to generating images. So when I saw them put out this video, I was like, okay, what am I looking at here? These are feet, this is legs. They're appearing to descend into some water. Looks kind of futuristic. Woman getting lowered. She seems to maybe be getting some sort of, I don't know, futuristic scan. But then no, you realize, oh snap, they're actually building that machine in real life. This is not AI. Apparently they've got a working prototype, and here's how they describe it. It starts by stepping into a shallow pool of golden light. You then begin to descend into the water. Your body passes through a wing of underwater sensors, each acting like a dolphin. Using its echolocation, the sensors send ultrasonic sound waves through your body from every angle. With enough waves and enough angles, we form an image of what's happening inside your body. Wait, what? Again, Midjourney. This is an AI image generating company that is totally pivoting here. How does this stack up against MRIs, against CT scans? Is this going to be something that we are witnessing right now, change medicine forever, or is this Silicon Valley hype on overdrive? Let's bring in Dr. Kavita Patel for her reaction on all this, because I imagine the doctor text change that are flying around right now are pretty interesting. So I know I'm not privy to any of these doctor text chains that are out there, but doctor, the claims here are pretty wild. They say that in a lot of ways, they are claiming that it is superior to even MRI machines. There's no radiation, no powerful magnetic fields, just sound, water, 60 seconds, and kind of like a spa environment. How does this compare with MRIs and CT scans?
I was just as intrigued. So you are not alone, and we could definitely add you to our next doctor text chain, because you're asking all the questions we asked each other. So here's the bottom line. It is really intriguing. It sounds amazing. And as you said, more of a wellness spa approach. But there's a reason MRIs and CT scans are different and superior in many cases. The MRI uses hydrogen atoms and strong magnetic forces so that we can look at soft tissue. A CT scan uses high resolution X-rays so that we can get great images of the bone. So that is not a replacement. Ultrasound, and how I think about what you just showed, Gadi, is this is basically a high frequency ultrasound in water, and that's a certain type of technology. But until we get a little bit more data and evidence, we're just going to have to go with what we know, the gold standard in other cases.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it is going to be interesting to see how long it takes for this to be put into use. But they say that they're building this spa in San Francisco with 10 of these scanners, and those are going to have the capability, according to them, of doing more body scans than all the MRI scanners in the entire world combined. And then they're also talking about putting 50,000 of these all over the world, billions of these scans a month, let's say. But just for hypotheticals here, that they somehow pull that off and they start processing so much data longitudinally, like, would that be helpful if they can have a data set that big?
Any data set that big is going to be incredibly valuable, and especially when you're talking about large language models, or at least that underpinning foundation of artificial intelligence. I think the bigger question is, any data set, even ChatGPT, when you use it for certain discrete cases, can be wrong. We know that for a fact. It's right in many instances, but when it's wrong, it can be really wrong. And I think that in medicine, we always watch for false positives and false negatives. You want something that can, when they tell you this is really an aneurysm or this is really a cancer, that it really is as close to 100% as we can get. And I think that's where more data will be helpful. But I would not substitute what we see today, even though it's so exciting, and I think it holds a lot of promise for the future. And what I hope is that it brings down the cost of all of this, because when you talk about billions and billions of scans, it would sure be nice to make sure that we could do this for the entire world at a much cheaper price.
Yeah, much cheaper. And again, 60 seconds sounds fantastic. I am so glad that you brought up the idea of false positives, because, you know, a lot of people are comparing this to Prenuvo and, you know, what this could do to the Prenuvo business model. And one of the main criticisms of Prenuvo overall, or those proactive body scans, has always been false flags. All of a sudden you think that there's something wrong with your brain, or it detects something, and then you freak out, and the next thing you know, it's like, no, that was benign, or no, you know, that was just some sort of shadow. If people are going to get these at the spa and then make their own analysis about their bodies, like, where are the doctors involved here?
Yeah, I would expect that the company, in one of their press releases I read, said that it's moving forward with Food and Drug Administration approvals. I imagine that part of that approval set will be that question of, where is the human in the loop? So where is that radiologist, or where is that kind of detection? And I think that the exact example you gave of whole body scans, whole body MRI scans, whatever company it might be, false positives, but also false negatives are something that we want to flag. I know that in reviewing that literature, I know you personally, I've been personally kind of experienced by these whole body scans, and that it can be an incredible asset in the right context and under medical care. So everything that I want to have people listen to, when you see this exciting technology at a spa, ask the question, who is the physician, and what kind of training did this clinician have? I've seen too many med spas that take advantage of, unfortunately, very vulnerable people. And that's often just money flushed down the toilet. So I am very hopeful that conversations like this one can get people to kind of ask the question at that point of care. I personally would not recommend anybody to do anything that's a replacement for an actual supervised and guided imaging of any sort. But I do think that, as you point out, there are going to be plenty of people that use this as a substitute. Just remember, it's not a substitute. I think of it as just additional data until we know more about what the science kind of takes us with these types of scans.
Yeah. This is one of those things that is so difficult because, you know, if you're a human and you're reading this, like, you want this to succeed. Like, this is what we want. in the future. And yet, as you said, there is a lot of ambiguity about how all of this will work. Let's say that they may be able to pull this off. What do you think the biggest obstacle they're going to face is? Is it the bone density thing? Is it the fact that ultrasounds have trouble seeing through air and pockets in your body? Where do you see them having their limitations tested?
I think the limitations are going to be some of the limitations with artificial intelligence in general. So you're right, ultrasound is not useful for every type of body part, but you could imagine that you can actually use artificial intelligence to even synthesize and kind of create around that if you have a proper data set. So I think the limitations are going to be what we see when we use AI in all aspects of life, everything from hallucinations to getting what you see wrong. So the images that can be produced might actually be errors and not true. And that's, I think, all of what is going to be better and better. Gotti, think back to the self-driving cars. Even just like 5 years ago, people said it's not possible. But with that data set, with more and more people using it, we did see improvements. What I will say is that nothing is nothing is perfect, including my own assessment as a physician. So what I hope is that we will get something that's cheaper, accurate, and can be disseminated so that the barriers, access, insurance, time, availability, cost, if those get eliminated, then imagine that we can actually treat and even potentially cure disease. I think we all want that. I desperately want that to happen. We're not there yet, but I say yet because I do think we'll get there one day. Today is not that day. So just look at this as something interesting and something to keep your eye on. Don't let it substitute for anything that is recommended by your healthcare team.
Yeah, it can be a cause for optimism and skepticism at the same time. Dr. Kavita Patel, really appreciate you.
Same time.
Thank you.
Yep.
And now a look at the rising costs of our favorite subscriptions. Check this out. A new survey says Americans are spending $1,300 every single year on monthly services. $1,300. NBC's Emily Akeda has more on the breakdown.
Being an adult in 2026 is just having a pro membership to your life.
It's become the inescapable normal.
Can we go back to the day of where everything was not a freaking subscription? Please!
An offer to subscribe to nearly everything in our lives. Forget just movies and music. These days, it's your dinner.
HelloFresh makes eating well exciting.
Your dog's dinner.
Our fresh food plans keep dogs moving.
Even flowers.
Fresh flower subscriptions. They exist.
A new survey finds the cost of convenience is going up.
I saw I was paying over $2,500 on subscriptions.
According to CNET, Americans spend an average of $111 each month on subscriptions. That's more than $1,300 annually and up 23% from last year.
Subscription prices overall seem to be on the uptick. But number two, when we start coupling just music subscriptions, retail memberships, streaming subscriptions, all of those things, that can really add up to a pretty big number.
Experts say another secret of subscription success, Americans are spending big bucks on services we simply forget to cancel.
Part of the name of the game could be that we are really just setting and forgetting those subscriptions, and before you look back at it, you've spent a lot of money.
Just how much money? CNET found that adults throw away $252 each year on subscriptions they don't even use. Scammers are also taking advantage, with the FTC filing a new lawsuit against a tech group it says operated subscription schemes for multiple apps, billed consumers without authorization, and made it difficult to cancel, all part of growing frustration.
Do y'all ever think about how everything in our world is literally a subscription to something? I'm literally so sick of it.
Need help keeping track of your services? Look at your app store for past purchases. Check your credit card statements for both monthly and annual charges. And for subscriptions you do want to keep,
seeing what's available in terms of bundles. Another one that you might want to consider is rotating your subscriptions. The final thing, thinking about a skinny package, which may mean that you have fewer channels, or you might even consider a package that has ads as another option to maybe pay a little bit less.
Not surprisingly, the most popular subscriptions continue to be streaming services, retail platforms like Costco or Prime, and music. After that, CNET says cloud storage, fitness programs, and these days, AI subscription services continue to grow with things like paid versions of ChatGPT and other AI tools. Back to you.
cloud storage. I completely forgot about cloud storage. Emily, thank you so very much. Coming up, astronomers uncovering fascinating new details about the famous pink planet and its selfie surprise. More on that ahead, so stay tuned.
All right, 2 minutes here.
Man, yeah, I have too many cloud storage subscriptions, and I only use one of them.
Position G.
Got to do some transferring tonight. All right, let's see. I use Experian to track my subs. I didn't know that Experian did that. I'll have to check that out. Do you have to subscribe to it, though? You know, what could be used instead? No, tell me. Too much information, biggest obstacle will be medical anxiety? Possibly. This is, I forgot it. Yep. Yeah, I saw it. Thank you very, very much. Yep, awesome. Thank you for that. Okay, next we're talking pink planet. People, it's not really a planet. Maybe it is a planet, maybe it's not. It's kind of in between a planet and a dwarf. So, Antoinette, what's up, Burke? How are you? 1 minute out. Are you a news channel or private? We are a news channel. You could turn on any TV right now, find NBC News Now, and you'll see commercials right now. But in about 30 seconds, you'll see the show. We're both.
Going back to the desk.
Okay.
About 30.
30 seconds. Hey, welcome back. The universe's famous pink planet may look like cotton candy, but it turns out it is anything but sweet. GJ504b, the pink planet, is 57 light years away from Earth, and now scientists at Northwestern University discovered it is a salty, salty set of clouds surrounding it. So why is that a big deal? Well, first, we have to ask, is this even really a planet at all? Well, here to help us with all of this is Northwestern University astrophysicist Yunesh Baburaj. Thank you so much for being with us. You've been leading a lot of the research into this. So first things first, the pink planet. Is this a planet? Because this thing is massive, right?
It is pretty massive. Our data shows like it's 25 times the mass of Jupiter, and Jupiter is like 1,000 plus times the mass of Earth. So yeah, sorry, 300 times the mass of Earth. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty up there.
So do we know that this is a planet, or could it be possibly a star?
Oh, sorry, yeah. It's definitely not a star. Like to be a star, it has to like fuse hydrogen in its core into helium, like our sun does, and it is definitely nowhere near as massive enough for that. It could be a planet, or it could be something that we call a brown dwarf, which is kind of like an object which couldn't get massive enough to be a star and fuse hydrogen in its core and become a star.
Yeah, a brown dwarf or a pink dwarf.
Yeah.
You know, when we think of Jupiter, you've got ammonia clouds. We here on Earth, we've got water clouds. We all know what those look like. But these salt clouds, and if I understand it correctly, like it's not a perfect comparison, but table salt is the type of salt that we would be maybe talking about here. Like, what is salt? What does a salt cloud look like? Is it wispy? Is there any way that we can conceptualize it here?
I am not sure. Like the data that we have from the James Webb Telescope cannot really tell us like what kind of salt clouds these might be, if they might be like the ones we see on Earth, or are they more crystalline, like you just have these salt crystals suspended in the air. So at present, we don't have enough data to say that what kind of salt clouds it might be. We just have evidence to say that these might be salt clouds.
And I was reading the paper, and it seems like you did that through a process of elimination, which is, absolutely incredible. Can't wait to see what the James Webb Space Telescope shows us next. Anish, thank you so very much for being with us tonight. And still to come, World Cup mania extending off the field. Take a look at this popular sticker trend that has fans going on the hunt, but first you got to see this. Speaking of celebrating the Knicks, an oops moment during the parade came when Knicks player Tyler Kolek was running along the route. He was high-fiving fans. Then all of a sudden the cop's like, wait, what are you doing? He stopped because they thought he was a fan. That confusion was quickly cleared up when Kolek later posted on X saying, quote, I swear I'm on the team, bro. We'll be right back. Sir, you can't do this. I'm on the team, bro.
All right. Evil.
He's on the team, guys. He's on the team. Salty Planet, right? I'm going to text you after the show because I need your thoughts on Disclosure Day. I have a lot of thoughts on Disclosure Day. But, I'm a journalist, so I don't have opinions. Pretty, right? Suzanne, that's a very beautiful planet. Although, I spent a little bit of time today closing my eyes, trying to figure out what it would be like. First of all, it's a gas planet. It's not, as you heard, it could be like a brown dwarf, so it might not be a planet, but let's just call it a planet for the sake of this. It's a gas celestial object, so you would not have a place to stand on, but if you were there, what would, table salt clouds look like? Vapor, wispy, they would reflect light. It's one of the ways that we were able to study that planet. It's the deeper you would go into the gas, the darker it would get. And so, yeah, it'd be a really cool place to be. Anyway, the universe is filled with all kinds of mysteries, and I can't wait to see what the telescopes show us next. There's another telescope, the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope that's going to be launched this year. I think we're going to try to get out to Cape Canaveral and do some stories on that, but that's coming up soon. Let's see. We're definitely going to miss you. Max, we're definitely going to miss you. Is anybody from NBC speaking at the Washington Journalism Media Conference this year? When is it? I'm sure, Hallie lives out there. Hopefully Hallie can get out there. That would be great. Neptune Rain Diamonds. Helmuth, thanks so much. Reddish Salt. So, but I think it's the carbonate that we use for table salt. Let me see. Check here. Where is it? Can't find this. Sodium chloride, but let me see if I can find the paper. I'm not going to waste your time with the paper, but yeah, interesting stuff. Reddish. I like swimmers who are doing productive things, not those traps. Yeah? You definitely don't have that here, Drew. But welcome to the show, Drew. And again, this is Drew's first day, so I'm so glad you hung out. And yeah, we're going on hiatus for a little bit on the stream. You can watch on television, but we'll be back here probably in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, July 12th through the 17th. I'll be in DC, so I don't think I'll be there, but hopefully Hallie will. And hi. Thanks so much for watching. I think we're coming up here. Let's Hilarious.
Hey, welcome back.
Boom.
Finally tonight,
Team USA is getting ready for its second match of the World Cup group stage tomorrow. They're going to face off against Australia up in Seattle. And earlier today, South Africa and the Czech Republic played to a dramatic draw. And speaking of draws, fans are learning about the luck of the draw. That's right, luck when it comes to stickers that they are hunting down in an attempt to collect every single player in the tournament. A lot easier said than done. Ali Canal has more on this very sticky situation.
Do you guys like doing this? Is it fun?
Yeah. The 2026 World Cup is in full swing, and so is the Panini sticker craze.
Like, I'm trying to collect all the cards, like all the players from all the teams.
Panini is the Italian company behind the stickers that have been a soccer tradition for more than 50 years, featuring the top players from each country competing.
We bring the global community together.
From New York to Santiago, millions of soccer fans on the same mission. Can they collect them all?
I'm coming from Chile to New York. I'm trying to get some stickers from the United States.
The worldwide phenomenon has been drawing fans since 1970, turning a simple sticker book into a global treasure hunt.
How many more stickers do you need?
I'm missing like 200.
For many, the real action isn't buying the stickers, it's trading them. Outside 30 Rock, fans gathered around Panini's vintage sticker truck, swapping duplicates and hunting for their most wanted players.
Right now, I just did my first trade.
What you're seeing at Rockefeller Center is happening all over the world. People swapping stickers.
This is something that we grew up with every World Cup. Just, ask our parents, get us an album and money for stickers.
So naturally, I had to see what all the fuss was about.
We want to buy some stickers. Here we can get this box, 175 stickers for $50. Let's go see what's inside the box. Placing my first sticker on the book. Collectors must track down a record 980 stickers in order to complete the book. And as you can see, I got a long way to go here.
Any sticker with a black border is one of one.
If you get that black sticker, you want to hold on to it and not put it in your album. It's going to be super valuable over time.
During the last World Cup, a one-of-one Lionel Messi sticker sold for more than $100,000. And a mint condition 1979 Panini sticker featuring Diego Maradona fetched more than $500,000 at auction a few years ago. And with superstars like Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo potentially playing in their final World Cup, the search may be more meaningful today than ever.
I wanted to find Messi, but I haven't found him yet.
Have you found your Messi sticker?
No, yet. Looking for that one too.
All right, we're on the hunt for Messi.
Yeah.
Because for these fans, the World Cup isn't just played on the field, it's playing out one Panini sticker at a time. Ali Canal, NBC News.
And now Ali is stuck with a new hobby. Ali, thank you so very much. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Gotti Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned to NBC News Now.